Stop! Before you scroll past, I need you to hear this. A city was once swallowed by a wave of molasses. In the middle of the day, a woman survived a plane falling apart at 33,000 feet because someone mixed up her name on a form. An entire country declared war on birds with machine guns and lost, and one guy literally triggered a revolution by going to the opera. Every single one of these stories is real. Verified, documented, peer-reviewed, absolutely insane. And by the end of this video, you're going to question everything you thought you knew about how history actually gets made. Because spoiler alert, it's mostly just chaos. No masterminds, no destiny, no plan. Just wrong turns, forgotten dishes, and really bad timing. 9 stories, each one more unbelievable than the last. Let's go. Story number 1, the day Boston was swallowed by a wave of molasses. January 15th, 1919. Boston, Massachusetts, the North End neighborhood, 12:30 in the afternoon. People are eating lunch. Kids are walking home from school. Workers are moving around the waterfront. Body is thinking about the giant steel tank standing at the edge of Commercial Street. It's 50 feet tall, 90 feet wide. It holds 2.3 million gallons of thick, dark industrial molasses, and it has been slowly groaning and leaking for months. Residents of the neighborhood had complained. They said the tank made strange sounds at night. They said brown liquid seeped from its rivets. They said the whole thing looked wrong. The company that owned it, Purity Distilling Corporation, painted the tank brown so the leaks wouldn't show. That was their solution. Paint it brown. On January 15th, the temperature in Boston had jumped 40 degrees overnight, from just above 0 to nearly 45 Fahrenheit. The molasses inside, cold and sluggish for weeks, suddenly warmed and expanded. At 12:30 p.m., the rivets on the tank begin to pop, one by one, like bullets, and then the entire tank explodes. 2.5 million gallons of molasses surge into the streets in a wave estimated at 25 feet high, moving at 35 miles per hour. 35 miles per hour. That is faster than most people can sprint. The wave picks up horses. It buries freight cars. It tears a support column off an elevated railway. It crushes buildings. It swallows everything in its path. People drown in molasses, in the middle of a city, in the middle of the day. 21 people are killed. 150 are injured. The cleanup takes weeks. Boston Harbor ran brown with molasses for months. Old-timers in the North End claimed for years that on a hot summer day, you could still smell it in the streets. There is a small plaque on the spot today. It does not fully capture the insanity of what happened there. A poorly built tank, a company that painted over the leaks, and one warm January morning, Boston was consumed by a wave of molasses. That sentence is real. Story number 2, the man who was struck by lightning. 7 times and kept showing up to work. Some people have bad luck. And then there's Roy Sullivan. Roy was a U.S. park ranger working in Shenandoah National Park, Virginia. Quiet guy. Dependable. Showed up every day. The universe apparently had a very specific problem with Roy Sullivan. 1942, lightning strikes him for the first time while he's hiding from a storm in a fire lookout tower. He loses a toenail. Okay, tragic. Freak accident. These things happen. Move on. 1969, lightning hits him again while he's driving his truck. His eyebrows are burned completely off. 1970, strike number 3, his left shoulder is seared. 1972, his hair catches fire. He has to beat the flames out with his own hat while the smoke rises off his head. 1973, lightning hits him so hard it physically blasts him out of his moving car, burns off his newly grown hair, and blows one of his shoes clean off his foot. At this point, Roy Sullivan has started carrying buckets of water with him everywhere he goes. Literal metal buckets, just in case his head lights up again. People start avoiding him at the park. His co-workers are genuinely scared to stand next to him. 1976, strike 6, ankle injury. 1977, strike 7, he's out fishing, minding his own business. Lightning finds him anyway. He's hospitalized for burns on his chest and stomach. 7 times. Guinness World Records officially certified Roy Sullivan as the human being struck by lightning more times than anyone in recorded history. The odds of being struck by lightning once in your lifetime are around 1 in 15,300. Scientists who looked at Roy's case said, basically, We don't have math for this. He survived every single strike. He lived to be 71 years old. He kept working as a park ranger. The only thing that ever truly broke Roy Sullivan had nothing to do with the sky, but that's a story for another day. What matters here is that Roy Sullivan was hit by lightning 7 times, and his response every single time was, eventually, to go back to work. Story number 3. The sandwich that started World War I. June 28, 1914. Sarajevo, Bosnia. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the entire Austro-Hungarian Empire, is riding through the city in an open-top car on a sunny morning. His wife, Sophie, is beside him. Unknown to him, a group of 6 assassins is spread across his planned route. They've been planning this for weeks. They are ready. The first assassin throws a bomb at the car. It bounces off the back of the vehicle, rolls underneath the car behind it, explodes. Wrong car, wrong people. Franz Ferdinand is shaken but alive. His motorcade speeds up. It's over. The assassination has failed spectacularly. The Archduke is furious. He changes his route. His driver gets new instructions. The 6 assassins, humiliated, panicking, start melting into the crowd. It's finished. The plan collapsed. They failed. One of them, a 19-year-old named Gavrilo Princip, is so dejected, so completely deflated, that he decides to go get something to eat. He walks into a deli called Schiller's Delicatessen. He orders a sandwich. He stands there eating it, feeling like the biggest failure in the world. And then, the Archduke's motorcade turns a corner. The wrong corner. The driver got confused by the last-minute route change. He turned directly onto the street where Gavrilo Princip was standing, eating his lunch. The driver realized the mistake. He hit the brakes. The engine stalled. The car stopped moving, 6 feet from Gavrilo Princip. Princip looked up from his sandwich. He looked at the Archduke. The Archduke looked back. Princip pulled out his pistol. He fired twice. Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie were killed. Within days, Austria-Hungary issued an ultimatum to Serbia. Within weeks, they declared war. Russia mobilized to protect Serbia. Germany mobilized to back Austria. France mobilized against Germany. Britain entered when Germany invaded Belgium. World War I had begun. 4 years, 37 million casualties, 4 empires destroyed, the map of the entire world redrawn, all because a driver made a wrong turn, all because a 19-year-old stopped for a sandwich. 1 wrong turn, 1 lunch break. The entire 20th century unfolded differently because of it. Story number 4. The flight attendant who fell 6 miles and survived because of a name mix-up. December 4th, 1971. A Yugoslav Airlines flight takes off from Copenhagen. Vesna Vulovic is working the cabin as a flight attendant. At 33,000 feet, the plane explodes. Not an emergency landing, not a rough patch of turbulence, not a controlled descent. The aircraft blows apart in mid-air over Czechoslovakia. Everyone on board is killed, except Vesna. She falls over 6 miles to the ground. No parachute, no safety system, just a young woman falling through the winter sky. She lands in a snowbank in a remote mountain area. A local man, a former medic, reaches her first and keeps her alive until help arrives. Vesna is in a coma for 27 days. Both legs are broken. 3 vertebrae are crushed. Her skull is fractured. Her pelvis is shattered. She survives. She recovers. She walks again. Guinness World Records officially lists her as the holder of the record for the highest survived free fall without a parachute, a record that has never been broken. That is an extraordinary story by itself. Unbelievable. 1 in a billion. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. Vesna was not supposed to be on that flight. She was not originally scheduled for that route. There was another flight attendant at the same airline. Her name was also Vesna. The scheduling department looked at the roster. They saw Vesna. They assigned the shift. They gave it to the wrong Vesna. Vesna Vulovic showed up for a shift that wasn't hers. She fell 6 miles from the sky and lived. Because someone in an office made a clerical error. Fate, bureaucracy, or pure chaos. You pick. Story number 5. The forgotten petri dish that saved 200 million lives. September 1928. London, St. Mary's Hospital. Dr. Alexander Fleming has just returned from his summer vacation. His lab is a disaster. Petri dishes piled everywhere. Bacterial cultures he left sitting before he went on holiday. He's going to spend the morning throwing most of it away. He picks up one dish. looks at it casually, ready to toss it, then he stops. There is mold growing on the dish. That's not unusual. That happens all the time. But something is different about this one. Around the edges of the mold, in a perfect ring, every single bacterium is dead. The mold is producing something that kills bacteria on contact, a kind of invisible force field of death surrounding it. Fleming looks at the dish for a long moment. And then he says, according to his own later account, something along the lines of, "That's funny." Not eureka, not a shout, not tears of joy, just, "That's funny." He doesn't throw the dish away. He sets it aside. He thinks about it. He starts testing. The mold is Penicillium notatum. The substance it produces is what Fleming names penicillin. Over the following decades, penicillin becomes the most widely used antibiotic in human history. It transforms medicine. It saves soldiers in World War II who would have died from infected wounds. It cures diseases that had killed people for centuries. Estimated lives saved by the discovery of penicillin, somewhere between 80 million and 200 million people. And it all happened because Alexander Fleming went on vacation, because he left his lab messy, because he didn't throw away one forgotten dish. If Fleming had been a more organized scientist, tidier, more disciplined, more thorough, he would have cleaned that dish before he left. And it would have gone in the trash. Think about that the next time someone tells you to clean your room. Story number 6. The time Australia declared war on birds and lost. 1932. Western Australia. The Campion District. 20,000 emus have arrived. Not a few emus wandering around. 20,000 emus. They are enormous, flightless, fast, aggressive, and they are destroying wheat farms across the region, charging through fences, trampling crops, eating everything. The farmers are desperate, so they do what any reasonable group of people would do in this situation. They ask the Australian government to send soldiers with machine guns to fight the emus. And the government, unbelievably, says yes. This is real. This happened. It is officially known in the historical record as the Great Emu War. Major G.P.W. Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery is put in charge of the operation. He is given 2 Lewis guns, military-grade light machine guns, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. He is told to solve the emu problem, November 2nd, 1932. The soldiers move in, and immediately things go wrong. The emus scatter. They don't bunch together like any sensible enemy would. They split into small groups and run in every direction. You can't aim a machine gun at a mob that just disperses. The soldiers chase them. The emus run faster. They mount a machine gun on a truck and try to chase the emus across the open terrain. The terrain is too rough. The truck can't keep up. Ornithologist and military observer Dominic Serventi later noted that the emus seem to operate in a manner similar to guerrilla warfare, absorbing casualties, splitting into smaller units, refusing to engage on the enemy's terms. He was serious when he wrote that. After 6 days, soldiers had fired 2,500 rounds of ammunition. They had killed, at most, around 50 emus. That is 50 bullets per emu. The Australian House of Representatives began receiving questions about the campaign. A member of Parliament suggested the major should be given a medal, but the medal should be given by the EMUs. The military withdrew in humiliation. The EMUs won. Australia deployed troops again a few weeks later. Same result. The emus won again. Farmers continued to deal with the emu problem themselves for years, using conventional fencing. The military solution, the machine guns, the trucks, the professional soldiers of the Royal Australian Artillery, achieved nothing. To this day, Australia is the only country in the world to have lost a war against birds. This is in the official parliamentary record. The emus had no comment. Story number 7. The Night and Opera Performance Created a Country. Here's one that sounds like I made it up. I did not. 1830. Brussels. The Belgian people are frustrated, unhappy, and living under Dutch rule in a kingdom called the United Netherlands. It's not working. Culturally, linguistically, religiously, Belgium and the Netherlands are different in almost every way. The Belgians want independence, but nobody has done anything about it yet. August the 25th, 1830. The Brussels Opera House is packed. On stage, La Mouette de Portici, an opera about revolution, about rising up against oppression, about a people reclaiming their freedom. The audience watches, the music swells, the emotions in the room build, and then the crowd boils over. People pour out of the theater into the streets. What starts as a charged, emotional night turns into riots. Workers seize tools and weapons. The unrest spreads across the city within hours. That night is the spark. Within weeks, Belgian revolutionaries are fighting in the streets. By October, the provisional government declares independence. By 1831, Belgium is a recognized sovereign nation, acknowledged by the major European powers. Belgium, a country of 11 million people, the home of the European Union headquarters, one of the founding members of NATO, exists in part because a crowd at an opera got too fired up to go home quietly. One performance, one night, one room full of people who felt something. A whole country. Story number 8. The man who saved the world on a Tuesday night and got paperwork violations for it. September 26, 1983, 12:40 a.m., a secret Soviet military bunker outside Moscow. The Cold War is at its most dangerous point in years. The United States and the Soviet Union have thousands of nuclear warheads pointed at each other. One wrong signal, one miscommunication, could end human civilization. Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov is sitting at his post, monitoring the Soviet early warning satellite system. His job is simple. If the system detects incoming American missiles, he reports it immediately. The chain of command takes over from there. The response would be automatic and massive. The alarm goes off. One missile detected, inbound from the United States. Then the system updates. 5 missiles. The sirens are screaming. Red lights everywhere. His operators are staring at him, waiting for the order. Protocol is clear. Report the launch. Report it now. Stanislav Petrov stares at the screen. He doesn't pick up the phone because something doesn't feel right. If the United States was launching a first strike, why only 5 missiles? The Americans had thousands. Why 5? That makes no sense strategically. A real nuclear attack would be overwhelming. Hundreds of warheads, not 5. Also, the ground radar, a separate system, is showing nothing. Petrov makes a decision that no rulebook prepared him for. He calls it a false alarm. He reports a system malfunction. He was right. A Soviet satellite had glitched. It had mistaken the sun's reflection off cloud formations over North Dakota for missile launches. A software error, a bad algorithm. A brief mathematical confusion in a satellite 22,000 miles above the Earth. If Petrov had followed his orders, had done exactly what he was trained and required to do, the Soviet response would have launched. We will never know with certainty what would have happened next. But Stanislav Petrov looked at a screen that said nuclear war had started, decided he didn't believe it, and kept the world intact. The Soviet military's response when they found out? They reprimanded him for improperly filling out his incident reports. He was never decorated, never officially honored by the Soviet government. For years he couldn't talk about it. He retired quietly. He lived in a small apartment outside Moscow. He got a little international recognition toward the end of his life, a documentary, an award from a German organization, a visit to the United Nations. He died in 2017 at the age of 77. Stanislav Petrov, the man who saved the world by trusting his gut, on a Tuesday. Story number 9. The typo that accidentally opened the Berlin Wall. November 9th, 1989. East Berlin. The Cold War is crumbling. The Soviet Union is weakening. Protests have been shaking East Germany for weeks. Hundreds of thousands of people in the streets. The government is under enormous pressure. That evening, a Communist Party spokesman named Günter Schabowski sits down at a live press conference. He has just been handed a memo. New regulations about travel permits. East Germans will be allowed to apply for permission to visit the West. A carefully managed, bureaucratic, limited change, meant to relieve pressure, not meant to be dramatic. Schabowski has one problem. He hasn't read the memo properly. He doesn't know the full context. He doesn't know the regulations aren't supposed to take effect until the next morning, after border guards have been briefed and the system is ready. A reporter asks, when do the new travel rules take effect? Schabowski shuffles his papers. He looks up. He says, immediately, without delay. The press conference ends. Within minutes, the news is on every radio station, every television channel across both Germanys. East Germans hear it. Thousands of them pour into the streets and head for the checkpoints. The border guards have received no instructions. They have no briefing. They have no orders covering this scenario. They call their commanders. Their commanders call their commanders. Nobody knows what to do. The crowds keep growing, tens of thousands of people pressing against the gates. Finally, one guard, faced with an impossible situation, a massive crowd, and no instructions from above, makes a call. He opens the gate. People flood through. The Berlin Wall, the most famous symbol of the Cold War, the dividing line between two worlds, falls. Not because of a military campaign, not because of a diplomatic summit, not because of a carefully planned democratic movement reaching its crescendo. Because a government spokesman hadn't read his memo. Because one man said immediately when he meant tomorrow morning. Because of a typo in history. Germany reunified the following year. The Cold War effectively ended. And somewhere in an archive in Berlin, there is still a memo that changed the world because nobody read it carefully enough. Here's what every single one of these stories has in common. None of them were planned. No grand design, no secret conspiracy. No mastermind pulling strings. A wave of molasses, a sandwich, a missed memo, a forgotten Petri dish, a glitch on a satellite screen, 20,000 emus that refused to lose. This is how history actually works. Not in throne rooms and war councils, though those matter too, but in kitchens and delis and late-night bunkers and opera houses and jungle clearings. In the moments where one person makes one small, strange, completely human decision, and the whole world turns. Which means right now, today, this Monday, something random is happening somewhere that will change everything. You just don't know it yet. So here's what I want to know from you. Which of these 9 accidents hit you the hardest? And why? Drop your answer in the comments right now. I read every single one, and the most interesting answer might become the opening of the next video.